They weren't all shot at once. One by one, each member of the Lillelid family witnessed their loved ones fall. While troubled minds often dwell in the youth, what happened on April 6, 1997, is a chilling reminder of how far darkness can go. This is the story of the Lillelid murders, a brutal crime that has haunted the Tennessee hills for nearly 3 decades. To understand this tragedy, let's begin with the family themselves. Vidar Lillelid, originally from Bergen, Norway, was the youngest of 4 children. After moving to Florida, he met Delphina, a vibrant young woman from New Jersey, and they fell in love. They married in 1989 and soon became parents to 2 beautiful children, Tabitha and Peter. In 1995, the family moved to Knoxville, Tennessee, where they could raise their kids in a peaceful community. Vidar worked as a bellman, and Delphina homeschooled their children. They were devout Jehovah's Witnesses, dedicated to their faith and their family. On April 6, 1997, after attending a Jehovah's Witness convention, the family began their journey home in their minivan. They stopped at a rest area off Interstate 81 so 2-year-old Peter could stretch his legs. It seemed like a quick, innocent break on their way home. But at that same rest stop, 6 troubled teens were on the run and in desperate need of a reliable vehicle. Vidar, ever friendly, approached 2 young girls asking if they believed in God. They said no. And with that innocent conversation, everything changed. The 6 teens were Natasha Cornett, Karen Howell, Joseph Reisner, Edward Mullins, Jason Bryant, and Crystal Sturgill. Each of them had endured troubled pasts marked by abuse, addiction, and neglect. From a young age, they'd turned to violence, drugs, and dark beliefs, finding solace in each other's company. And now, their lives had spiraled out of control, and they were desperate to escape. When Vidar offered to share his beliefs with them, Joseph pulled out a gun and said, "I'm sorry about this, everybody. Just be quiet, and nothing's going to happen to you." The Lillelid family was forced back into their minivan, with the teens joining them. Vidar was ordered to drive, while the rest of the group followed in their worn-out Chevrolet. The family's pleas for mercy were met with silence. Vidar even tried offering his wallet and car keys, but the teens refused. They had a destination in mind, and the Lillelid family wasn't part of it. At a secluded spot on Payne Hollow Lane, the family was led out of the van. One by one, they were lined up along a ditch and shot. Vidar was killed first, followed by his wife, Delphina, who witnessed the murder of her husband and children before succumbing to her own brutal injuries. 6-year-old Tabitha was shot once, and 2-year-old Peter miraculously survived, though gravely injured. 2 separate 911 calls reported gunshots and strange activity on Payne Hollow Lane. When deputies arrived, they found the abandoned Chevrolet and, nearby, the bodies of Vidar, Delphina, and Tabitha. Against all odds, Peter had survived, though he suffered severe injuries. His cries alerted the officers, who rushed him to the hospital. Meanwhile, the 6 teens attempted to flee to Mexico but were denied entry. Eventually, they were stopped by Border Patrol agents, who uncovered evidence of the Lillelid family's belongings in the van. During questioning, each of the 6 defendants provided conflicting stories, each one placing the blame on someone else. The teens eventually pleaded guilty to murder and attempted murder, avoiding the death penalty, but receiving life sentences without the possibility of parole. In a world that seemed to have abandoned him, Peter Lillelid, the only survivor, became a symbol of resilience. After recovering in the hospital, Peter moved to Sweden to live with his paternal aunt and uncle, who raised him in a loving home. Peter eventually returned to the US, married, and began a life of his own. He has no memories of that tragic night, but the scars, both visible and invisible, remain. This case shocked Tennessee and the entire nation, a horrifying example of innocence destroyed by senseless violence. The community continues to remember the Lillelid family, gathering every April at the site where they were last seen together. As for the 6 who carried out these brutal acts, they remain behind bars, each living with the burden of their crimes. the Lillelid murders remain a haunting reminder of the darkness that can exist in the world. But it's also a story of resilience and survival in the face of unimaginable tragedy. Thank you for watching. If you want to hear more stories like this, please consider subscribing. Stay safe, stay vigilant, and as always, take care.